This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So all of you are able to see the screen, guys. Kirti, Manogna,
Yes, sir.
Abha. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So can anyone explain this process? What is this SDLC?
So the SDLC is a development lifecycle where projects come first based on development. Also, there's first feasibility assessment, kickoff, requirements analysis, design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So basically, it follows in that order. Where to develop any type of software, we follow life cycles. There's also different types of life cycles like agile, waterfall, scaled agile, spiral, V model. So that's just from the inception of software since 1970. So eventually,
Hmm.
there'll be more and more life cycles and life cycle variances as well.
Okay. So anyone else? Anyone else would like to have share their views on this SDLC? Sabha, Archit, Banapriya, Manogna, Satish, Charan. Anyone can pick their views and get started. Anyone else?
Like it's a process of how a feature uh,
Hmm.
travels in a cycle from the uh, idea to how a end user uses it. The what are the phases that software goes through, software features goes through. That's a kind of software
Hmm.
development life cycle.
Hmm. Okay. So as you all know, the default process of software development lifecycle, like project kickoff initiation, where in the initiation, where we'll be giving a demo to the customer on how our product is going to be and all the stuff. Once the customer agrees to the demo and once he feels like this software is really fitting for our business requirements, then the post-sales team will go for the requirements gathering. They'll be participating in the workshops organized by the clients organized by the clients, by their product owners or by their stakeholders to understand the requirements and to help us analyze the business part of the application. Then goes analysis. So once they have decided to implement automation, there are two ways when you want to start the automation. One is a regular process. After the application is deployed into the client environment, during the operation and maintenance phase, we can start the writing the automation scripts. Or another thing is like during the analysis phase, we can start preparing our framework process. Like by the time they analyze the requirements and they get the things right, we can also prepare our framework during the analysis time. This is one right opportunity for us to build our framework and check how it is working. I mean, how the framework should be done as per the application requirements. Then comes the design phase. In the design phase, what we'll be doing, we'll be going through all the different phases, how the look and feels of the application should be, how the layout is coming out to be, how the pages should navigate from one screen to another. So what is the role of automation team? With the help of the design, we'll be getting at least one overall look and feel of the application of how it is turning out to be. So based on that, we can write some additional functions like what are the different navigations that we require for this kind of application. One during the development, I mean, the developers will develop the product based on the requirements gathering based on the design analysis done by the team. So here, once the development is completed, if they want to do a round of smoke testing, they can do it with the help of automation engineers along with the development team. Like if they want to run a smoke suit on the developers branch, then we can also run the smoke suit based on the code developed by them. Like along with the development team, we can also start building the scripts in parallel, and we can also run the smoke suit in the development environment. Once that is done, then we can also run the scripts parallel in the testing environment and see how it is happening. You got it, guys? What are the different areas where we can introduce automation here? You can start right from analysis phase, or once the application is deployed in the client environment, then during the operation and maintenance, you can start building your automation scripts. Hope all of you are clear in this point.
Sure, but that operation scripts basically when that analysis happens, right? There's the analysis and design are specific to like in a TDD environment, like TDD environment. Then what happens? Like, is it the same thing, or will the cycle change?
I mean, this is a generic software development life cycle. Let it be TDD or whatsoever. This is a generic software development life cycle we are discussing. We are not focusing on the specifics of any cycle because it varies slightly from company to company.
Oh, and then so, but will there be like rapid access where, like, you say, no, it's taking too long, or if the scope, initial scope changes, then requirement gathering changes or development changes,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, that comes under agile process. The whole agile process is linked to ever-changing requirements, right?
and and then but if there's pushback and the team says no, I don't want to, I don't want to listen to the project manager, we will develop our own scope. I mean, we will, like, the original scope isn't what the project manager decided, it's completely different, something like that, sir.
Yeah, yeah, because most of the companies follow agile process methodology. So what we'll do, whatever the requirements we gather, we give a demo of the application to the client. Once I give a demo of the application to the client, then he will suggest some changes. Then there's like, no, these are the change of requirements. All the discussion will come. Once everyone agrees on it, then we can start developing the full code. Once the demo is agreed and accepted by the customer, then only we can start coding, guys. You got it, Tejas?
Oh, and then so I see you're saying. So then there's the same thing that is coming up with that the requirement gathering phase. There could be they could the cycle could essentially be just four steps instead of all the steps included, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that is the beauty of agile process.
Uh-huh. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so here we have seen how do we include automation in different phases or different phases of the software development life cycle. That is what the whole agenda about.
Mm-hmm.
And you always know this STLC, software testing life cycle. So what do we do here? Can anyone explain this software testing life cycle process?
So this is the same as this is the same as the SD the software development lifecycle. Only thing is here, you do there's a test planning, including the type of test, whether it's black box testing, white box testing, or black box, and then we write the test cases, specific test cases, whether it's positive test cases, negative test cases, boundary test cases, value testing, and then we set up the environment, whether it's sit, integration, regression, and then execute the test, and then collect defects, and then run the defect lifecycle, steps to reproduce that defect. Steps to reproduce that defect, and then the result, whether it's a pass or fail, and then retest it till it passes, and clients are happy. It no longer is an issue.
Hmm. Okay, anyone else? Suresh, Archit, yeah.
Yeah, so basically STLC is like software testing lifecycle having different um, parts, which is like basically first one is the requirement analysis. It indicates the RTM, requirement traceability metrics. What we do that will gather all the business requirements which are there and what the client want, and according to that we'll prepare the scenarios, that what sort of scenarios can be there, whether it's with respect to the user one or with the end to end. So it totally depends that how the application will work. All those business requirements will be gathered in this. After that there will be the test plan. We'll make a test plan depending upon that those who will be the people those who are working on it, what will be the project outcome, and what sort of project we are working upon or the product we are working upon, what are the risk and assumptions, how much time will it will take, what are the mitigations part if there are some sort of vulnerabilities which might come, or there are some sort of things like with respect to the security or the other stuff. All those things will write here, and we'll make a proper test plan so that according to that we can work on the project. And on each and every uh, cycle, or like if it totally depends on which sort of methodology we are working upon. After that there are the test cases. So as we know that once we have prepared all those scenarios in the initial stage, we'll write the test cases for those particular scenarios. There can be multiple test cases for a single test scenario, so all those test cases will make, and for each and every module and for the whole application, so that it will be easier for us to get to know that what sort of things, how the things can be worked upon, whether it's on the negative side or the positive side, and the edge cases. So all those things will write here. After that there will be environmental setup. We'll prepare the environments. As you know that there are four sort of environmental setup: the dev,
Mm.
QA, pre-production, and production. So according to that we'll make, and we'll run our each and every test case according to it in the test execution part. And we'll get to know about the results, that how many test cases got passed, how many got failed. According to that, at the end we'll make the report, that how many test cases of which particular scenarios got passed, how many got failed, and what's the total strength of our particular module, and how much time it does it need, or what how many defects were there, how much time it took for this for a particular defect to get resolved, and till how much percentage of the project we have covered up. And it's good to just hand over to the client, and how much time it's like still we need to work upon, so that each and every test case should get passed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is
Yeah, yeah. Perfect, Achit. So this is what we all should know about software testing lifecycle as mentioned by Tejas and Achit. Yes. Our main process of a software testing lifecycle is to improve our testing processes and to aim for more defects, to find more issues, and to ensure that we can deliver a quality product to the client. Clear? Is this clear, everyone? Is this clear, guys? Sabha,
Yes,
Prashant,
absolutely, yes, sir.
Gaurav?
That part is
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
This in with test cases, the environment setup, sir. What goes into an environment setup? Like, what goes into the
Environment setup is related to like we need as testers we need to have separate environment. Generally, if you work in the same environment as developers,
uh-huh.
then you will not know how the code is behaving or working because
Okay,
developers are someone who they keep on making changes continuously.
okay, uh-huh. So, but
That
so then web server, it didn't cost extra cost for that, maybe for to set up a web
yeah,
server.
that is included in the budget.
Okay.
All the server costs, whatever you speak about, it's already included in the budget.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
clear?
And and then the actual test planning is do you have to is there documentation involved in that, like in the test plan, like the
Yes, there's a lot
content?
of documentation involved in test planning, which you might be not a part of it.
Okay, got it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
You
sir.
might not be a lot part of this test planning process.
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yeah.
Any doubts?
Mm, no, sir. We're good to continue.
Mm. So let us see the Selenium family. What are the different tools present under the Selenium family? So, so when you talk about Selenium family, what is the first tool that has been invented by the Selenium under the Selenium family? Selenium IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Okay, this this tool was invented by an employee working at ThoughtWorks in the year 2004. Why this tool has come into picture? Because those days the only automation tool leading in the market was QTP. Now they call it as UFT, but the only automation tool that was leading in the market was QTP or UFT. And in order to afford the license of QTP or UFT, it used to cost a bomb for the companies. So what this person has done, he has invented this freeware tool called as Selenium. Okay, why he has invented this freeware tool called as Selenium? Because it helps him ease the process of testing. Got it? So what is the Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE is nothing but it is just a record and playback tool. Okay? Zero coding knowledge is required. It is like an extension to the browser. It works only in Chrome and Firefox. Okay? Now, let me show you how do we use Selenium IDE. So, okay, already have the Selenium IDE installed in my system. So just I'll remove it. Okay. Search for Selenium IDE for Chrome. Okay, I'll just try to remove this from Chrome so that you'll see a fresh ID. How do you install it? So once you search Selenium ID for Chrome, then you click on Add to Chrome. Once you click on Add to Chrome, then it'll ask for then a pop-up comes like Add extension. Got it? Got it?
Yeah.
Good. So this is how we add an extension to our browser. This is how we add Selenium ID extension to our browser. Is this process clear, guys?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, doesn't matter if it's Mac or Mac or Windows dependent.
Anything.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you.
So we have added this Chrome extension to the Chrome browser. Once we add this extension, then I click on Selenium IDE. So once I click on Selenium IDE, then the welcome screen comes up. And just a moment. So once the screen comes up, you'll be having four options displayed. Open an existing project, create a new project, record a new test in a new project. Okay. So once I click on record a new test in a new project, then what I'll do, I'll click on this link. So you can give any project name of your choice. What is the project name you want to give? I can give anything. Okay. So for which website you want to record the application? Okay. Now for suppose for this website I want to record the flow. Okay. So this is my application URL. So for this application URL, I want to start recording it. Got it? So
Yes.
once I click on start recording,
Sure.
then I can record my flow. So let's wait once the application is loaded properly. So since the application is loaded properly, I can navigate to whatever tabs I want. I can maximize my screen and I can click on scorecard and I can click on squad and I can click on highlights. Then I can click on points table. Then I can click on photos. Okay. Once I capture all these actions, what I will do, I'll go to my tool and I'll click on stop. So once I stop the recording, it will ask me what is the test case name you want to give. So you can give whatever name you want. Okay. And I click on OK. So once I click on OK, what will happen? Whatever the actions you have recorded is stored here. If you want to play back the same set of actions again, you can click on this play button. So it will run the same set of actions again. Got it?
Yes.
Oh, that was nuts. That was it. Just randomly moves around on screen and everything.
Yeah, it's just a record and playback tool.
Oh wow, okay. Uh, uh, but it records. So how does it do that? Like, does it is it always listening, or like how does it know what you're doing?
It's simple record and playback tool here. What does it do? It records all the actions and we are repeating the same set of actions again. So that is what the tool supports us.
Oh, um, and so like, where does it take up a lot of space in the record?
I mean, it depends on the flow that you're trying to capture. I can't guarantee, right, how much flow it occupies.
Okay, okay.
It's
Uh,
such a simple flow, that is why it's taken less space. If you want to
mhm,
record long scenarios, then obviously it consumes more space.
mm, I see what you're saying. But how much could it possibly take? Like this
I
record
mean,
could.
that doesn't matter. I mean, how does the space matter? Because these are all very small scripts. Like, how can I say how much space it takes? It takes
Oh,
some MBs only. It doesn't take the data in GBs. Okay.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah.
I have a
Okay.
question. Can we
Mm-hmm.
add session like with the login and
Sorry.
can we record with credentials too?
Yes, you can record whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose if you want to run the application, if you want to play back the same thing recorded at a slower speed, you can click on this button and you can reduce the speed of the application. Got it? So once I click on this play button, it will run again. Is this clear, guys? How the execution speed has been reduced?
Yes.
Clear? Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, it's clear. Even we are having one functionalized tool is there in the market that also performs in the same way.
Yeah, functionalized tool is there, but that's a paid tool. That's
Paid
really
tool,
a
yeah. I
heavy
have
tool to
used in
invest.
Wipro. Yeah,
So that's a heavy tool to work on it, Sharon. Because as I told you, paid tools are not a cup of tea for every company.
absolutely correct. Yeah, right.
Hmm.
This ID
Hmm.
supports all browsers, sir.
Only Firefox and Chrome, as I've written the point here. It suppose only works only in Chrome and Firefox. So these are the main advantages. Like zero coding knowledge is required, but having having a basic idea of about HTML is a bonus. So the thing with this record and playback tool is if suppose someone has changed the flow of the application, like someone has changed the flow of the application, someone has changed some removed some functionality, again you have to do the record and playback again. Got the point, guys? If someone changes the flow of the application, if someone changes the whole application, then you need to record and playback again. So like that, how many times do you do the record and playback? Because we are working in a very agile environments. And do you think this will work out all the time? I cannot record and playback, right?
Yeah,
Clear?
multiple records could take a long time. It records even the mouse over. It's just going over to a specific space in the screen, like a
Mm,
pixel, right? And then, but does it like does it? Can you say that the capture is like, the capture is say content delivery dependent, meaning like for example, if you were to on the web, if you were to change elements like async, await, or something like that, some
mm,
JavaScript element, then what would happen? You know,
mm.
so like
Yes,
so
yes. Like,
then you would then it would be completely different. The console, you could change the whole thing would be a little bit different, right, sir?
mm. Yes, yes.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah. How about others? I hope these points are clear for so far.
Yeah. So I think this is not feasible for if we are selecting some random values every time, right?
Yes, yes. We cannot select any random values. Whatever the flow we have recorded, we have to play back the same flow only, Manoj. So in addition to this point, what are the disadvantages? We cannot change the flow, or we cannot put any conditional or looping statements. Got it? Got it, everyone?
Yes.
We
Oh,
cannot perform any sort of validations. Like we cannot check whether this page has been navigated successfully or not, whether the pop-up message is displaying properly or not. We cannot validate those kind of scenarios. Got it?
conditional looping statements. Oh, so for example, if you refresh the page 4 or 5 times, then it would be
Mm,
you can't say that if it's the same correct or not, same page or not, something like that, sir.
like, see, I mean to say, if you want to validate something, as I told you just prior, you can't validate it.
You can't validate it. So then uh so for example, like one recording doesn't overlap another, something like that.
Sorry?
Like one recording won't overlap another recording.
Hmm.
Okay.
Like, is there a lot of scenarios, right? You yourself worked as a tester, so how the application changes. Without validation, do you think any record and playback script is a legit script?
Okay.
Whenever you're doing any sort of testing, I mean automation testing or performance testing, think from a manually. Like manual, you have a sense, right? You
Yeah.
cannot blindly trust a record and playback, right? At
Yeah.
least a minimum validation is required.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense.
Got it?
And there is no support to run this. recording through Jenkins, or is
No, no,
there
no,
any?
nothing. You have to run through this tool.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
So, yes, so probably this is another disadvantage.
Yes. I mean, see, forget about Jenkins integration or some other integration. First of all, the basic set is not happening, right? We cannot perform any sort of validations. We cannot change the flow or we cannot change the code. Yeah, we cannot change. Bhanupriya, if you record for one user, only for that user only it will record. If you want to change the username, we cannot change. Okay?
But can we parameterize,
No
like let's say,
parameterization like Jmeter. No
okay,
parameterization, you cannot do it. No parameterization, no correlation like Jmeter. Jmeter recording is completely different from this recording. Okay?
oh, okay, then it is actually very simple then.
Yeah, that is what I'm
Wow.
telling you now. That is why I told you this is the tool in the year 2004. Like just he wanted to record the flow and check how it is going or not. That is the whole purpose of
Okay.
the tool. Okay? This is useful for prototype demonstration. Like if you want to
Okay.
demonstrate any prototypes, that time only it's useful. Got it?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Clear, guys?
I'm having a question.
Mm-hmm.
If for example I'm just comparing that, for example we are having a functionized tool, and in that particular things, like we can able to validate the stuff, we are having the parameterization as well, and even if the flow gets changed we can able to add the lines, so each and everything is there in that.
Nothing.
So for example, if there's a free tool similar to like
Mm,
Selenium IDE or something, which is having each and every stuff which you have written in the disadvantage, advantage means it becomes the advantage. So we are having each and everything. Still, the companies
mm,
demand for programmers, like we should know Java or Python with the Selenium or something
mm.
like that. We should know the coding part. So why the
Yeah, we
company
are
demands
supposed to
for it?
know. I'll tell you. This is just the starting of Selenium. I'm just going through the start of the Selenium process. This is one of the initial tools of Selenium, Charan. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Archit. This is the first of the tools of Selenium family. I'm just yet to come across because I cannot directly jump into WebDriver, right? So first you should need to know because this I'm explaining it just not for the sake of the class. In interview, they'll ask you what is the Selenium family, what does Selenium IDE do, what does Selenium RC do, what is Selenium WebDriver. They'll ask you all these questions because a person who is having good Selenium knowledge will understand how the WebDriver is coming to picture, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes, absolutely. I'm not saying about that thing. I was just having a question that, for example, if the codeless tool is having these advantages, for example, as I said, that it can able to validate
Yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah. I
it
got
can
it.
able to do each and everything. Still, why we need? So I was just having a question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, no matter how many codeless tools you have, they all say that they are reducing the efforts of the developer or something like that. But in reality, they're not doing it because I've seen some tools recently, like functionalize what they said. There's a record and playback tool. There's another tool I have seen, Test Trigger. Test Trigger is also the same, like they say it's an AI tool where you just need to record and play, but definitely not. You need to do some coding. A bit of 50% of coding is required to do. It's just saving us from this 50% of the course. Got it?
Yeah.
Any doubts?
No, like
Doubt
I'll
is
ask later.
yeah. Doubt is like, say you have that same prototype, sir. You could say that, okay, so the prototype, after recording or before the recording, I mean, it looks the same. It looks, the playback is the exact same now as it was before. Like, for example, if you make changes to a website, then it records steps where, like, for example, certain functionality could fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Tejas, at the end of the day, it's a simple record and playback tool. If anyone tries to change the UI of the screen and someone removes the component of the page, then you have to record it again. What do you mean
Oh,
by prototype demonstration means that you have a simple application. If you want to showcase your sample application, you instead of you navigating, I'm just recording a flow and showing it in front of a customer. That's it.
okay, okay. So then they won't, but there is a possible. There could be like conditional failures that clients when you show that in a prototype they say, I don't like this, I don't like that, this doesn't look good,
Yeah,
didn't feel nice.
yeah, that is what. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay,
That is
got
a prototype demonstration.
uh-huh. Got it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, sir.
So this is what we do. These are the pros and cons as I've discussed about Selenium IDE. So we can also add, right, it has an inbuilt reporting mechanism. Okay. Speed of the execution is slower compared to Selenium RC and WebDriver. Got it? Now we understood what is Selenium IDE. Got it, everyone?
Yes, sir. So one question, in a reporting environment, in a reporting environment, like, what are the typical reports one would run? Like the time to execute, number of failures, like defects that need to.
Those are all your execution stats. The
Oh,
execution stats is something else.
okay,
What do
okay.
you mean by detailed reporting? What do you mean by reporting is what are the logs? What are the pages it has navigated? What are the buttons it has clicked and all the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have discussed about Selenium IDE.
Mm.
Now we will say Selenium RC. So Selenium RC, what does this RC stands for? Remote control. So it was invented by a Japanese software engineer in the year 2006 to 7, where it gives us the ability to script the test cases using JavaScript. Got it? Here, RC acts as a mediator between the code and the browser. So if you can see the screen, if you can see this diagram, whatever code you have written, the Selenium remote control server will act as a mediator between this browser and your coding language. So what is happening here? Whatever the code you have written, it will be sent to remote control server. So what does this remote control server does? Whatever code you have written, it will convert into the form of a JavaScript and it will inject Selenium core onto the browsers. What do you mean by injecting Selenium core onto the browsers? Injecting some set of JavaScript commands onto the browser. So the thing with browsers is if you try to insert too many JavaScript commands onto the browser, the execution speed of the test cases tends to reduce by 30%. Got it? The more and more JavaScript commands to execute on the browser, the slower the pace of the execution. You got this point, guys?
So it's slower? Like it really runs slower?
Yeah, the execution speed becomes slower.
Oh, okay, okay. So the RC you would have to um you would have to uh go through a third party, so obviously
Yeah,
another
yeah,
job.
like RC acts as a, yeah, see, here RC is acting as a mediator between the code and the browser, which makes the architecture more complex. Because if someone is acting as a mediator, we never know what is the mechanism of the mediator, right? Because our code is executing on the browser. There's a lot of conversions happening. There's a lot of changes happening, which we don't know, right?
Hmm.
RC converts the code that we have written into the form of JS commands known as Selenium core, which is being injected into the browser. Got it? Got it, everyone?
Yes.
Is it clear? Any doubts? By inserting, by executing too many JS commands onto the browser, it reduces the speed of the execution. Got it? Is this clear, everyone? All the points? Sabha,
Yes.
Achit, Manognya, Charan,
Yes.
Yeah.
Bhanupriya, Satish. Is it clear,
Yes, sir.
everyone? Hmm.
Yes.
The only advantage with respect to Selenium from IDE is we have Selenium also gives us the flexibility of programming the scripts. Like we can write the test cases in actual, like we can perform all the validations, we can check whether it is working properly or not. We can actually see how the application is behaving. Got it? The main disadvantages of it, apart from the disadvantages that we have seen above, it does not perform any sort of API testing or headless testing. Got it? Got it?
So what's headless?
Headless testing means executing your test cases in the background.
Oh.
Like the whatever test cases you want to execute, it will be running in the background. You'll not see how the browser is open, how it is being executed, and all the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, but the Selenium core when it's under test, when the application's under test, does it behave differently? No, right?
Yeah, different. See, when you inject Selenium core onto different browsers, as I've told you, whatever the application we develop, do you think it will behave the same in different browsers? No, right, initially. The UI changes, the layout changes a bit, the screen layout changes a bit. So we need to see how it works in different browsers also, right?
Hmm. So then in different so there could be completely element difference as well as screen.
Element difference won't be there. The screen layout might change.
Uh, yeah, yeah, including the ratio size, objects on screen.
Yeah. All those will come into picture, right?
Yeah, definitely, sir. Even with the media and everything, if you have playback like YouTube or Netflix application, then it's still running on a browser. It's still going to running on a browser on which is on a Linux
Mm,
machine something. But you could
mm.
probably test the Linux aspect as well in Selenium. No, right?
Yeah, we can text it in Linux software also. As I've told you yesterday,
Uh-huh.
Selenium is a platform independent.
Wow, nice.
Okay.
Hmm.
I have a
So
question.
this is what, yeah.
Can we generate report and can we make parameterization in RC?
Wait. So for all the people who are coming from performance testing background, when it comes to automation, we don't do any sort of parameterization and correlation like that. Here we are checking the functional part of the application. You can parameterize your arguments with the help of the coding, but not the kind of parameterization you can do via this Jmeter scripting or LoadRunner. Am I clear?
Yes, okay. And what about report? We generate report and
Yeah,
all.
as I've told you prior, Selenium, depends on third-party tools for generating the reports. As of now, for Selenium RC, we cannot generate the report. That doesn't have an inbuilt reporting mechanism. We have to write the code for that.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Clear?
Sir, the doubt that comes up is the from 2006 to when RC was developed in 2006 to 2024 now, has it changed? No, right? Has it not?
See, I mean, I'll tell you one thing about our major release. In 2018, they have given a release where we can script the test cases in Java, Python, Ruby, JS, etc. So that it supports multiple programming languages from 2018 onwards. Till 2018, it was supporting only the end users to write in JavaScript. Okay.
In JavaScript. So then the in 2018 is where like some inflection happened, and then the test cases wouldn't write themselves. Like for example, if you were to write the steps,
Sorry, Tejas.
sorry, if the steps for a test case, the steps would write themselves, right? For Selenium in RC.
See, we have to write the scripting. We have to write the test case. We have to write the script for login. We have to write everything. We have to write. It's a
So
programming.
uh-huh. Okay. So then automation wouldn't auto script. You can't tell Selenium to auto script the test cases also.
Yeah, yeah. We have to write the scripts here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is all about Selenium RC. Okay. So this is what is all about Selenium RC and Selenium IDE. Now, the current tool that everyone uses in most of the companies is Selenium WebDriver. Got it? What do you mean by the Selenium WebDriver? Whatever the code that you have written, let it be Java, Python, C Hash, Java, Perl. What happens is that with the help of this JSON wire protocol, our complete code will be converted into the form of HTTP request and response. Once the complete code is converted in the form of HTTP request and response, then for every browser, we have a driver object. Like for Chrome, we have a Chrome driver object. For Firefox, we have a Firefox driver object. For Edge, we have a Edge driver object. So whatever the HTTP requests are there, we are sending it to the browser driver. So there'll be a constant communication between this browser driver and the actual browser. So it will be sending the request, it will be giving us a response. It will be sending the request, it will be giving us the response. So there's a continuous interaction between the browser driver and the browser object. Got it? Got it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So that's the main advantage. So suddenly the execution has become more lightweight, because in the previous Selenium RC, what we are doing, we are injecting Selenium core into the browsers. When you inject Selenium core, then more number of JavaScript commands are executed on the browser, which makes the execution more slower. Whereas when the whole code is being converted into the form of HTTP request and response, the code becomes more lightweight, easy to execute, and all the stuff. Clear? Is this clear, everyone?
Yes.
So the wire protocol, what does the wire protocol do? It's just again
JSON wire protocol is part of the architecture. We are not doing anything new here.
it goes into the driver to the Firefox driver, and
Yes.
the
For
driver.
Firefox browser, it's a Firefox driver. For Chrome browser, it will go to the Chrome driver. Okay.
Mhm. And then so
Okay.
it's still a DLL, right? The driver would still be a DLL file, or would it be a flat file like
It's a exe file. It's based on the operating system. If you're working in Windows operating system, it's a exe file. If you work in a Linux, it's a DMG file. If you work in a Safari, I don't know what is that file.
Okay.
Okay.
So the entire communication is through APIs, right?
Yeah, through HTTP request and response.
Okay.
Okay, it's one of the most lightweight processes to communicate with each other. In the latest version of Selenium, they have removed this JSON wire protocol. So what is happening? The code is directly interacting with the code is being directly sent to the browser driver object. So internally it converts the code into the form of HTTP request and response, and it will be sending to the real browser. Got it? Got it, everyone? In the latest Selenium versions that you see from Selenium 4 onwards, this JSON wire protocol concept is removed, and whatever the code is there, it will be directly sent to the browser driver object. Meaning what? The browser driver will internally change the code into the HTTP request and response that will continue the interaction with the browser. Clear? Is this clear, everyone?
Absolutely, yeah.
Any
Yes.
doubts? Any doubts so far? Any doubts so far, guys? Any questions with respect to
No.
today's class or anything?
No.
Okay. So from tomorrow onwards, we are directly jumping into Java coding. Like, what are the softwares? What do we need to install? How do we get started with the basic of programming? So tomorrow's class will be more on the software installations, and we'll get started with Java coding, guys. Clear?
Oh, yes. And this architecture is for Selenium 4, right?
Selenium WebDriver and Selenium WebDriver, that too from Selenium WebDriver version 4 onwards, the JSON wire
Okay.
protocol is being removed. For version 3, we have the JSON wire protocol still.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Any doubts, guys? All good to go for tomorrow's class, because tomorrow's class will be installing all the tools, followed by we'll be going through the basics of coding. Clear?
Sounds
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay then, guys.
Thank you.
We'll catch up tomorrow. If anyone has any doubts, you can stay back.
Sir, is the course content updated in the website?
Yeah, I've informed the team to update it. We'll update by tomorrow.